On July 10th, we traveled to Fiji on an evangelistic mission trip. We were invited by churches in Fiji to help them reach people in their communities. The churches had conducted a Project Andrew. That is where the church members identify friends, family members, co-workers that they wish to have the missionaries talk to. Church members commit to pray for these people, and when we arrive, we go visit them. If we run out of appointed visits, then we may go door to door, we may go to a park, or in the case of Fiji, we may go to an open market.
On this trip, we had the opportunity to talk to 4 different schools. We were impressed with how well behaved these kids were. Sometimes we would be talked to an individual class, and sometimes the whole school at once. They were always attentive and listened to what we had to say. They would usually play a game like Simon Says or sing a song to get them engaged before we did our presentation. At our first school, there were 300 kids, and about 70 indicated that they had prayed the prayer asking God for salvation.
Our favorite school presentation was at Tavua. We made the gospel presentation, and about 7 indicated that they had prayed. Ginger felt like some were reluctant, holding back, and so she told them her testimony, led them in a prayer, and we saw several more indicate that they had prayed.
Thank you for sending your son to pay for the cost of my sin. The gospel was shared with over 1,000 students on this trip.
Every day we were in villages, neighborhoods really, talking to people there, and the people in Fiji were very receptive.
Some of my most favorite visits were in homes with children listening to our presentation. We would be talking to the adults, and the kids would be listening from the edge of the room. After the presentation, I would ask if the kids heard and if they understood, and if they wanted to accept the gift of God.
We would also go into the markets to talk to people. We did this in Lautoka, Ba, and Tavu. It's where people go to buy the majority of groceries, so it's a great place to talk with people.
I was in the market talking with a couple of vendors about Jesus, and as I was speaking, a group of vendors were forming and listening. Before long, there were 6 who prayed to accept Christ.
One vendor asked me where I was from. I guess I stood out. I answered that I was from the United States, that I had come to tell people about Jesus. So I asked him, "Well, who do you think Jesus is?" He had a simple reply. He just simply said, "Good." So I told him how Jesus was God's Son, how he lived a perfect life, how Jesus paid the price for the things we've done wrong against God, and the man would pray to have his sins forgiven.
On Friday, we visited a hospital. It looked like we had stepped back in time to the early 1900s. The wards were all just one large room. You had males on one floor and females on another.
My favorite experience of the trip happened at the last visit of the hospital. There was a man laying in bed. He'd just had his leg amputated. Seated beside the bed is a wife who looks Muslim, a daughter who turns out to be Christian. Standing to the next side is a man who happens to actually belong in the bed behind us. So I began my gospel presentation and noticed that the woman seated next to the man in the bed next to them is very intently listening. She appears to be Hindu. So I go through the gospel presentation and ask, would you like to receive the gift of God? And the Muslim woman, the Hindu woman, the man standing, the first man in the bed, all say that they do. It was very exciting to see the power of the gospel.
The Fijians are natural singers, starting at a very early age. They sing wonderfully and harmonize effortlessly. And they love to dance.
Ginger and I presented the gospel to about 486 people, and about 167 prayed to receive Christ. For the whole trip, over 3,000 heard the gospel, and 526 made professions of faith.
Thank you to all who prayed for this trip. God was at work, and lives were definitely changed.